I thought I heard somebody saying, I can't remember, was it radishes?
Radishes are terrible. No,
Yeah,
they're
there's
god
like,
awful.
yeah, the third of what they figured they were hoping to
If
get.
that, yeah. But I mean, the grass seeds,
Right,
not
that
that
hurts.
bad. Yeah. That's kind of
It is 7 o'clock. For the last time, I call the board meeting, the Willamina School Board to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item up is contract approval for the superintendent. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the renewal of Superintendent Zimbrick's contract through June 30th, 2024.
Second.
It's been moved, seconded, and thirded to approve the renewal of Superintendent Zimbrick's contract through June 30th, 2024. Any board discussion? Any audience input? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor of approving the renewal of Superintendent Zimbrick's contract through June 30th, 2024, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed by saying nay? Appears unanimous.
Thank you.
Move on next, board member recognition. Do we introduce ourselves?
Yes,
or
no,
is that-
I actually,
That's something for you.
on behalf of the district, we have some things for each of you to thank you for your many years of service, a small token of our appreciation.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Self-portrait?
Oh, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your glory wall.
Appreciate that.
Wonderful, thank you.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you, Ginger.
Next is the Oregon School Boards Association, ladies, virtual conferences. Yep, that's the one.
This is kind of a little inconvenient because I know it's kind of probably during everyone's work day, the couple of the sessions that might be of most interest to you. But if you are interested and you do sign up, they will be recorded and you can kind of watch them at your own convenience if you decide to do that. So if you want to register, you can go on the site and do it yourself, or if you need me to help you, just let me know.
And do we pay for it? Or?
The district would pay for it, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna do a couple of them, the one on July 9th and the one on July 23rd. So I can also relay any information as well.
Yeah, I looked at it until I saw She the price works. and it showed.
The ones I went to when they were in Bend, good opportunities to learn new stuff.
Huh, okay.
So I encourage you to look at these seriously to see if you can go.
So if we sign up, then does it just automatically go to the,
It would automatically come to the district.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Now, would we have to watch it at that exact time? No.
You don't have to. They're gonna be recorded and you can watch them at your own convenience. That
Once
just-
you're registered, then you can go on and, yeah.
Good. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure there's not anybody else from the board with you.
Yeah.
Right. We'll do virtual. Okay.
Okay, next up is the consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented. Second.
It's Been moved and seconded to accept the consent agenda as presented. Any board discussion?
Yeah, where are we at with the CTE replacement, or where are we going with that?
We've hired,
Oh, did I
just
miss it?
recently, yeah, so it'll be on the July.
The July
Okay.
one, it just came in after.
We hired Tyler Wilson.
Who?
Tyler Wilson, he, I wish I would have brought some of the things he just made. He is originally from Texas, spent a couple of years, he lives in Salem, spent a couple of years working in the big CTE West facility, Salem Kaiser, well, not Salem Kaiser. Salem Kaiser kind of spearheaded the program, but Willamina SD actually built it and funded it. And it is open to everyone in the Willamina SD consortium. He really prefers small schools. He went to Florence, but his family's in Salem, so he was living in a travel trailer in Florence. And so when this opportunity came open, he applied. Very, very strong background in manufacturing, welding, automotive. In fact, we've had a router that's the CNC router we bought with our Revive grant we hadn't used, and he's been out there playing with it, and he brought over all this stuff he made. I was telling Richard he had made a wooden plaque, but then he used the router, put a bulldog on it, Willamina, and I mean, very, very professional things. He had a little plexiglass like a Ward routed Willamina into that with a bulldog, and he had one of those like when we do our signs, he had that kind of material and could router. I mean, I didn't know that routers could do that. I just remember the kind of router my dad had that like went around the end of a table. And so that's his background is tech CTE. So using the software to create a product, and then the kids making the machine then do the work. In his interview, I wasn't in his interview, but he brought a bat that a kid had made on a lathe, and then showed how that they used the software to create the same bat and made it on a 3D printer, but made about 40 of them in the time it took the one kid to make the one. So he will bring a real strong technology manufacturing.
Will he also be doing the FFA program then?
David Neese will
Dave Neese
continue as our
continues.
FFA, and I think Mike Crow is going to be helping David a little bit.
Thank you. No more questions for me.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Any audience input? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by saying nay. Again, appears unanimous. Next is Superintendent's Report.
Thank you. So our Maintenance Oversight Committee met recently since the last board meeting to look at our ESSER funds, which are the emergency relief funds that were allotted to each school district. Ours in particular equal up to a little over $2 million. So we're looking at ways that we could leverage some of that funding to do some projects on our long-range facility plan, in particular, adding classroom space and renovating our track. I want to also thank Clinton and Ken for being a part of that committee, and I understand Ken is willing to continue with us as a community member, and thank you very much, because there's always history, and it's nice to not have to start over when you're looking at long-range facility plans, and I do appreciate your background with that. So thank you. So this money really, truly gives us an opportunity to complete some major programs within our district that otherwise we would not see unless we were to pass another bond. And so I am working through ODE because with this funding, anytime you do capital projects with this fund, you have to get approval, but they do allow for it. So right now, that's the process I'm working on, is making sure that proposing some of these capital projects. And if not, then we can always look at what is allowable and offset our general fund to have some reserves that we could tackle some of these projects as well. But, you know, as a long-range facility committee, we had put, you know, the classrooms as a major priority. Obviously, the water issue, which we've already encumbered the money for the water project, but that was first and foremost had to be done. But then the 6 classrooms to the middle school, and the track. It hasn't truly been touched since this facility was built in '81. We've had a little bit of repairs and some paint put on it, but it's unusable in the state it's in right now for a track meet. Kids can practice on it, but we're unable to host a meet due to some of the hazards and safety. So I didn't think that I would see it in my lifetime working here to see that track renovated. So between Jerry Basinski and I, we're both super, super excited to think that that's going to be a reality in our time here. Finance.
Before you step on, I just want to encourage the board members that are still here and the future ones that somebody should get on that oversight committee.
Yeah, absolutely. We would like to
I
have.
think I was on something long before the pandemic, so yeah.
Okay.
That's
Okay. Yeah.
and everything can
Okay. And are you volunteering, is that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay.
Mark her down.
We'll make note of that.
It's in the notes, it's in the minutes. It's official.
So thank you again for approving our budget. And one of the things that we'll get to address right away is the legislation retired their session, and they did approve the $9.3 billion for state school funding. So we know for every million that the state school fund increases, it results in about 100,000 towards our state school fund. So that $2 million increase from what we budgeted on will result in about $200,000 more dollars in our general fund.
We budgeted 9-1, right?
We built our budget on 9.1, and so that adds. And then we actually, 2 of our retirements were staff members that were on the last column, high on the years of service, and were replaced. One is a first-year teacher, and another one's like a 5th-year teacher. So that we're going to see some significant change in budget in those departments. Again, and Lisa and April have been working really hard to spend down the grant money through the state. You know, June 30th, in 2 days, marks the end of the fiscal year for school districts, and that's the day when a lot of funds have to be spent by. This has been a crazy year because what's happened at the state, you know, we're told we have this much money in our Title VI program, or we have this much money in our TAP program, and we plan for that and spend that. Well, in the last few weeks, ODE said, oh, we're giving you another $50,000, but you have to spend it by June 30th, or you don't get it. And
here's your restriction.
Yeah, and so we've been really struggling to make sure that we can spend that money and make sure we fall within the guidelines of what we can spend it on. So one of the things, though, with our Title VI, we realized an extra $48,000 in Title VI, but we can use it for the same things we can use Title I. So we bought curriculum. We bought new English language arts curriculum at the middle school. We received another $52,000 in our tribal attendance promising practices grant that was supplemental. So we did some personal libraries for every student. So every student the last day of school went home with a collection of books for kids from kindergarten through high school. So each family, I shouldn't say each child, each family received a library collection to take home. And then we also received about $117,000 additional money in our ESSA, which is Every Student Succeeds, that was supplemental. So these are funds that typically the state would reserve for ODE for their staff to travel, go to trainings, come out to school districts to run professional learning. And because of COVID, that didn't happen. So they, their restrictions are they can't keep it either. So they spread it out amongst the districts that they serve, and we're all kind of scrambling. One of the nice things, though, we are starting to get a little bit of response from ODE saying, oh, now we're giving you till August 14th, or we're giving you till September 30th. We know that this is a quick turnaround. And we don't always have access to staff right now either to even make plans. So they've been really, really busy trying to invoice and get that money spent down. So we're not leaving money on the table. And I do appreciate it because it's been a lot of work.
Ladies.
The Ready School Safe Learners document, the new one came out today. It was embargoed. I sent it to everyone. It went from about a 90-page document to a 20-page document. And everything now is advisory. So local school boards really get control over how we are going to operate in the fall. The only things that are mandated is every district has to have a communicable disease plan on file with ODE, which we do. And you still have to follow protocols if someone were to test positive. So quarantine is still required at the state level, and you have to have a means of isolation for a student that maybe test positive and is on site until parents can come get them. So those are really the only absolutes in there. The rest is advisory. Social distancing has been advised at 3 feet now rather than 6 feet. And that's center of desk to center of desk, 3 feet. Masks, advisory, it's strongly advised is the language in there for all students under 12, and for staff when students are present. But again, advisory. Everything else is just, continue some of those things that are good no matter what, especially in cold and flu season, more hand washing, sanitation, things like that. But I did send everyone an email today with that new guidance, so you can take a look at it if you'd like.
If you guys end up needing more hand sanitizer.
Yeah, thank you.
You have some,
You have gallons?
Huh?
you have some because Roy bought a case for 25 cents.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, PPE is not an issue, boy. Everyone's
Masks are like.
providing that
50
too
cents at Old Navy right
for
now.
districts,
Instead of 4.
I think Willamina ESD delivered a truckload of supplies to us not too long ago. Our leadership team will continue to work on proposed policies or practice for the district and present that to the board. I would guess we would hope to have that by August before the start of school. We're gonna actually be able to get back to working on our continuous improvement plan, which I'm super excited to do. It seems like every plan that we had went by the wayside this year, and all we were doing was COVID planning, or COVID responding. So it'll be nice to get back to the business of school and focused on our instructional model and making sure kids are making gains academically.
Hopefully they don't change their mind before next.
What's that?
Hopefully they don't change their mind.
Yeah.
before next fall.
I don't think so. I think we're past that point, but now we'll just see how our community responds to, whatever we propose. So we are looking for input. One of the things I wanted to also share was we have an opportunity to join a grant proposal that the tribe is submitting. It's a wellness grant mostly focused on drug prevention, But the grant also includes a school resource officer, which would be dedicated to the Willamina School District, should they be successful. So they're in the application process right now, and we're really excited about having that opportunity.
Good.
Okay. I will turn it back over to you.
So just a quick question, I was approached by the Bishop family. I don't know if they've talked to anybody here at the district about, a celebration of life service for them. Have they
For
been in
mom and
contact
dad.
with you?
Yeah, Jerry's been working with them.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I just, I feel the school should support anything. it can to
absolutely.
that.
Yeah, I had him as a teacher.
Oh,
I had Mr. Bishop as a teacher.
So did I.
How many years?
Now's the time for audience input. Is there anything from the audience that somebody feels needs to come before the board that is not on the current agenda? I take that as a no. Moving on, we have the Willamina School District election results certification.
This just for information purposes only, I just included it.
Thank you.
And we appreciate that. What I saw in there is we have 3 new board members that will be taking their place on July 1st.
July 1st?
First board meeting.
Actually, July 12th, the first board meeting, they'll be sworn in.
Take their oath of office.
Yep. They'll be sworn at July 12th then, okay? And then we have, some voting to do. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adopt resolution 20/21-04 and 05 authorizing appropriation transfers to the 2020/2021 fiscal year.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 20/21-04 and 05 authorizing appropriation transfers for the 2020/2021 fiscal year. Any board discussion? Any audience input?
All of these are the additional monies that we got to spend before June 30th.
I'm sorry, say again?
All of these were the additional monies that we got that had to be spent this school year, so that's why. that's-
Well, okay, it's a good thing we're doing it before the end of the year.
Yes, we have to.
Okay. All in favor of adopting resolution 20/21-04 and 05, authorizing appropriation transfers for the 2020/2021 fiscal year, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed by saying nay? Appears unanimous.
You have to spend it to the penny. Yes, we have to balance to the penny.
That's my goal.
The auditors make sure of that.
Yeah.
Next item is an administrative contract.
Yeah, so we just have in here both the confidential contract and the administrative contract. Slight change to the confidential in that just moving it to a 7-step. So it is the same as our classified contract and our administrative contract. It was a 7-step, but it was 5 steps.
5 steps and then it went to.
Yeah, and then it jumped, the 6th step was after 15 years, and the 7th step was after 20. And so we just made it 7-step and no 15, 20, same as our classified and same as our our administrative. Yeah, our certified has theirs is based on their education and college credit, so they have columns based on bachelor's, master's plus, and then years of service.
I move to approve the administrative contract through June 30th, 2023.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the administrative contract through June 30th, 2023. Any board discussion? Any audience input? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor of approving the administrative contract through June 30th, 2023, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed by saying nay? Appears unanimous.
I move to approve the confidential and supervisor contract through June 30th, 2023.
Is that
Second.
Second? Okay, thank you. It has been moved and seconded to approve the confidential and supervisor contract through June 30th, 2023. Any board discussion? Audience input? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor of approving the confidential and supervisor contracts through June 30th, 2023, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed by saying nay? Again, appears unanimous. July 12th, 2021 will be an organizational meeting for the Willamina School Board. If one of the 3 new members decides not to show up immediately, you know who's going to be chairman of the board, don't you?
Yeah, Brenda.
Yeah. Anything else from anybody for the good of the order?
I just again would like to thank you all for your years of service. I have been fortunate to get to have all 3 of you for the duration of my time period. I really appreciate your leadership and guidance and support.
Thank you.
It's been enjoyable.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you both, all 3 of you.
You have 6 years?
Hearing nothing else and not having any more papers to shuffle, we are adjourned.
Good job, guys. I think you owe us dinner.